書くことが大変。
So the guys and I had another early start. We all know it's hard to wake up in the morning, but it's totally worth it in the end. Fewer cars, open roads, that's what it's all about. I started my day by trying to get some free samples from the vendors in the rest area.
Please.
It all worked out in the end.
Oh, delicious! Delicious! So good!
Good.
This rest area is not only famous for the food, it's also famous for the rotating princess. Can you see it? The destination of the day was the top of Hachiman-dake, or Mount Hachiman, in Saga Prefecture, Japan. When you first stop the ride to the top, you first have to ride through a small village in the valley below at the foot of the mountain. Some really nice turns in this area. After you pass through the village, you start to see what Hachiman-dake is famous for. The side of the mountain is covered with terraced rice fields. Some of these terraced rice fields can have walls up to several meters high. Well, if anything, it makes a great place for the guys and I to ride through. Halfway up, we saw this family of goats. The farmers in the area use the goats to defend against wild boar. The goats eat all the tall grass that the wild boar like to hide in, so it increases the boundaries of the fields. So I guess wild boars just don't like open spaces. After riding between the terraced rice fields for a while, we entered the woods, where the road started to get a little narrower. was my first time riding with Shin. It looked like he was really enjoying himself. Ravi's a great guy and just started riding big bikes recently. He did just fine. Koji was really working the corners on his lowrider. Hachiman-dake, just a little bit over 760 meters, is not very high compared to other mountains, but the view is still worth a ride. The word dake just means hill, but Hachiman is associated with the guardian deity in Buddhism. This is all well and good, but today we're just aiming to enjoy the great view from the top. Halfway up the mountain, it was time for a quick break. After getting a few photos for the books, we were off to the final stretch up to the peak. At the halfway point, the road flattens out, but you soon enter the final run. The road gets to a point where it's just enough for one car to get down. A couple of those turns are really hairy, but we finally made it to the top.
Oh, びっくり。すごいね。
すごい見えますね。Wow, what a beautiful day! Look at the mountain. I've never been up here. What's this mountain called? Hachiman.
Hachiman-dake.
Hachiman-dake.
After having fun with my camera, the guys and I decided it was time to get some lunch. The ride back was just as enjoyable as the ride up. Over lunch, we got to go over the day's events at the place that Ravi picked out.
今日はお疲れ様です。お疲れ様です。
帰ったかな？20回ぐらいやった。
20は行ってますね。
20回？
20回やったな。
あ、そうなの？これはないんでしょ。5回ぐらいかな。
そんなことはない。NC not 20, about 19ぐらいね。
So after a long day, it was about time to go home, so I decided to call my wife. And then I thought, wait a second. Wait, where's my phone? Wait, maybe it's in my bag. Oh, no. I left it on the mountain. So after all the confusion of setting up the shots and breaking down the camera, and plus I used my phone to call the guys in their helmets, I forgot and I left it on this post. Duh. It took a little over 2 hours to get back to the place where I left my phone. I remembered where I left it, and I got there just as the sun was going down. I drove all the way back up here. I left it on this post. もう警察行けないと。もう夜だ。Then a miracle happened. ありがとうございます。この人と結婚したいです。この人奥さんいますからまだ結婚できないんだけど、もし私の奥さんが何かあったらお願いします。
福岡まで帰ってらしたとて、それでね携帯なくしたこと福岡で気づいてまた戻ってきてね。そしたらね、 一番展望所の一番上のね、展望所で丸いあれの上に乗っとったって、でタクシーの運転手さんがね、お客さん乗せて、それでうちのあそこの直売所に来てね、この人を探してくださいって。で今ね、わからんかったけん、会長さんのところにね、保存会の米の会長さんのところに預けとって、明日ね、展望所と直売所と書き出しますってこう。
でもよかった、私たまたまね、車庫に行ったけんよかったね。
嬉しい。
ほら、その時にバイクで
これがね、優しい。これ高いものだからね。誰かなんか
最近買ってあることあって言ってから2、3日前かと分かる。
実はね、3日間前ですよ。
After not finding my phone, I was going to head home when I saw this woman and asked her for some help. Then she asked her mother-in-law, who then called this woman, who just happened to live in the house next door, and she had my phone.
優しいね、みんな。みんな優しい。それで、ありがとうございます。ちょっともしよかったら、ちょっとプロポーズしていい？断っていいから、すみません、電話を渡してください。結婚ください。結婚ください。バイバイ。ありがとうございました。助かりました。一生で忘れないです。
To make a long story short, I was really lucky. So lucky, I even got coffee and some food to go.
ハメももらいました。もうすごいね、ここで。結構美味しいよ。ありがとうございます。本当に世話になりました。うまい。